When I think of winter, I think of a time that is challenging creatively. I think of a time where the momentum I have is faced with these overwhelming feelings of burnout. But recently, when I've come to think of winter, I've started to think of it as a contradictory allure. Something that's both challenging, yet appealing. Let me explain. You see, for me, as a photographer, a filmmaker, a creator, living in the Midwest, and also living in the middle of nowhere, winter is one of the hardest times for me creatively, as it is a lot of you guys out there. Winter strips the landscape of its natural vibrancy, and short days and scarce sunlight tend to become the norm and are struggles that we all seem to face during this time. But when I think about it a little bit more deeply, winter is also the time that has all of the elements that I come to love in the visual aesthetic of my art. Winter offers an exquisite cinematic appeal. The overcast skies, the subdued palette, these are ingredients. These are elements that weave a narrative of beauty, something raw and gritty that cinema has come to know and adore. And that's where I feel the contradiction. And to be honest, winter is one of my favorite seasons, yet I struggle so much business-wise and creatively during this time. And I realize it's a mindset. You see, I'm approaching this from that summer momentum mindset, where generally I could make everything work out in a short period of time. If one day wasn't good, it's gonna be sunny the next, right? You see, winter isn't like that. Winter is about accepting the hand we're dealt, shifting from a summer mindset to adapt to winter's challenges and prospects. Winter demands adaptability, an openness to explore its peculiarities. What we're fighting against is perfectionism. It's that perfectionism that's the shackles we place on creativity, especially during winter's harsh embrace. Instead of thinking of how we create in winter the same we do in the summer, we should take a cue from the planet. You see, the planet doesn't continue doing what it was doing in summer and spring and fall, or even winter. The cycle of the seasons, to me, represents a new beginning each and every year. Winter is a time to begin anew, a time to embrace the messy action of that process and let the creativity flow, even if it's imperfect. I've been reading this book called The Creative Habit by Twyla Tharp. Although she's a dancer, I believe what she has to say in a passage I'd like to read to you will relate to a lot of how we feel as photographers, filmmakers, or really creators in general. Perfectionism at the start. Another trap is the belief that everything has to be perfect before you can take the next step. You won't move on to that second chapter until the first is written, rewritten, honed, tweaked, examined under a microscope, and buffed to a bright mahogany sheen. You won't dip your brush in the paint until you've assembled all the colors you can possibly imagine using in the course of the project. I know it's important to be prepared, but at the start of this process, this type of perfectionism is more like procrastination. You've got to get in there and do. I used to bask in the notion that all my obstacles to creative efficiency would vanish if I only had the right resources, my own studio, my own dancers, my own theater, and enough money to pay the dancers all year long and to hire the best collaborators. But I've learned that the opposite is true. Limits are a secret blessing, and bounty can be a curse. I've been on enough big budget film sets to appreciate the malignant influence of abundance and bloat. A good manager in business knows that there's never a moment in the business cycle when a company's objectives and resources are in perfect harmony. There is never an ideal balance between how many orders you have and how much inventory you're stocking. Your expenses and your income are never exactly in sync. One is always outpacing the other. Your people always demand more money, more resources, more investment spending than you're willing to give. You always have more phone calls to return or paperwork to handle than time to get it all done. Good managers know this instinctively, so they never plan on an ideal harmony they can achieve. It's better to be ready to go than to wait until you're perfectly ready. Our creative ideas don't stop during the winter time. Generally, neither does our want to create. We just oftentimes feel stuck. We feel stuck with what we want to do and what we can do. So my advice to you during this creatively challenging time during the year is simple. It's okay to have and believe in your business goals and your art goals, but also believe in being able to dance to the tune of the present. And if you're ever feeling uninspired, uncreative, or just want to give up on life, remember, every day airplanes take off against the wind. Keep climbing, stay inspired, and as always, stay fabulous. I'm Sidney, and I'll see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace out.